pole position actually started off feeling pretty manageable, which is usually the exact moment I get confident enough to make it worse. Hey, I'm Ryan, and this is another entry in my From Sim to Sky FPV training log. Today I'm in Liftoff for Infinite Laps 02, Short Circuit 01 pole position. This track follows a pretty readable racetrack layout with mostly wide corners, a few sharp turns, and low gates that don't leave a huge margin of error for messy flying. The goal was simple: find the rhythm, stay low, and start pushing for a faster lap. The first lap wasn't too bad, a bit messy, a bit floaty, but I could read where the track wanted me to go. The flying just hadn't caught up with that information yet, and there's the ground checking in. Most of my early mistakes were only small things, taking one corner a bit too sharp, drifting wider than planned, and occasionally turning a simple correction into a new problem, which is a real talent. This was the first little win. There was one spot that kept catching me out, and this was the first time it actually looked like I meant to do it. Those close corners were where the track started asking for a bit more rhythm. Nothing ridiculous, just enough that if I entered one corner badly, the next one was already waiting to make it awkward. And then the hill joined in. Next run through, this section started to make a little bit more sense. I got past the first crash point, carried over the crest, and had a bit more control through the valley. It's still not perfect, but it was starting to feel less like survival flying. First full lap came in at 127.7. Second lap was still messy, but it dropped down to 121.3. So I naturally took it as permission to be a little bit silly. By lap 3, I started chasing a faster time. I pitched down a bit more, pushed the throttle, and tried to keep the same rhythm without throwing the drone into the floor. This ended up being the best lap of the session. Still a few rough bits. Still a couple of moments where I was very politely asking the drone not to become part of the track. But the speed was better, the hill section was cleaner, and for once, the lap had a bit of a flow to it. That brought the time down to 117.7. Not elite racing, but I'll absolutely take it. After that lap, I made a very sensible decision to immediately push harder, because apparently learning a lesson once wasn't enough for me. Yep, there it is. So, pole position ended up being a pretty solid confidence track. The track layout was easy to read, the gates were low enough to keep me honest, and most of the mistakes were small enough that I could fix them during the session. The big lesson was speed control. I could fire the track, but once I started pushing that little bit harder, the margin of error for lazy lines disappeared pretty quickly. The fastest lap for the session was 117.7. The next step is keeping the same pace, without turning every hill crest into a coin toss. Still working on that bit though.